So we want to do a little post on knee pain and runners specifically. It's a question that I feel like we're getting quite a bit lately, and we want to just kind of go over what a process can look like to address knee pain. Now, before we get going here, caveat is that, obviously if you're coming in for an individual assessment, there's going to be things that we can look at that we're not going to go over specifically in today's video, but we'll kind of just have a general, here's a general approach to how to take a stab at maybe a hot knee after a run, or maybe a stiff knee the morning after a run, or maybe you're walking up and down the stairs and you're getting a little bit of knee pain. This is really going to be focused around you being able to take a quick stab at this and see if you can address some of your pain. All right, so we're going to start with some soft tissue work. So we're going to take our foam roller here and we're going to get down here onto the ground. And first we're going to start with just some basic smashing. So one thing to think about with the knee is a lot of the time if we were dealing with pain in the knee, or again, just kind of like a hot knee, a stiff knee, and an uncomfortable knee, just some general soft tissue work can go a long way to addressing some of the movement function in the knee and get it feeling better quickly. If the mobility aspect or the soft tissue work doesn't necessarily help, then we want to take a couple steps beyond this, which we'll go over a little bit as well. So first, we're going to start with the soft tissue work. So I'm going to start with just a general smash upstream. So again, a lot of the time, if I'm dealing with knee discomfort, addressing the quad can be a great way for me to free up some of the movement back into the knee and really get things feeling better. So I'll start with just a general smash. So when we think about a smash, we're just gonna kind of tack down a portion of tissue that is responding negatively, i.e. this is painful, doesn't feel good. I'm gonna hang out on this thing and just breathe into it. Deep breath, in and out. One of our big rule of thumbs is that we must always be able to breathe big inhales, full exhales. If we're feeling like we're dealing with so much discomfort from the roller that I feel like I almost need to grit my teeth or hold my breath, that's too much. We're gonna take a little bit of the pressure off here. But otherwise, I want you just to hang out here, and we're just gonna try to get into some of those deeper layers of the muscle and tissue here and just relax into this. Really try to allow the tissue to relax into the mobility tool of choice here. So we'll start with a smash. Then what I like to do is after we spend maybe 90 seconds to 2 minutes in a smash where we're just trying to desensitize that tissue, we're gonna work into a little bit of shearing. So kind of back and forth here. I'm gonna work kind of left, right versus up, down. So what we can do here is just create a little bit of movement and create a little bit of tug kind of perpendicularly to the muscle fibers here. So again, just kind of helping to create a little bit more movement, get the fascial system moving, so that shearing thing kind of left, right versus just up and down. And then last, what I'll do is I'll hit a little smash and floss. So again, I'm on that kind of hot spot here, and now I'm gonna continue just to kind of have that smash, i.e. I'm just dropping some weight into the roller, and then I'm gonna bring a little movement into this. So I'm gonna inhale, exhale, exhale. And really what I'm trying to do here is move the joint that I'm trying to affect change to. So I'm obviously trying to address my knee here. So I'm gonna flex the knee, extend the knee as I breathe through this. All of this should be like a 3 to 5 minute period here that we're working. And really what I want you to do is just kind of explore around the quad with the roller. So, I was just kind of direct right on the top of the quad here, but we can move a little bit more laterally. We can move a little bit more medially into the inside. Just really think I'm gonna hunt for some hot spots, spend some time on that. Now, if we've done the mobility work or some soft tissue work here and we don't feel like our pain is really being addressed, then we can start looking at how do we start to load this thing and start to rebuild some strength back into the system. The first place that I always like to start is with isometrics. So this is a nice, good, easy general approach for us. So we can start with something as simple as just wall sits, right? So let's say I've got some pain maybe just below my kneecap here. As I sit down into my wall sit and I find that point of discomfort, let's say I get to here and I'm like, oh, okay, I can feel that a little bit. I'm not pushing into a high degree of pain or discomfort here. Let's say I'm just touching on the edge of where I'm starting to feel that. I'm gonna hang out here. I'm gonna spend 30 seconds, 45 seconds, maybe a minute. My goal is going to be to break this up into rounds and accumulate 3 total minutes of isometric load. One rule of thumb to think about with the isometrics is you should feel that as you work through your rounds, your pain level is actually going down, not up. If you're doing these and you're like, man, after 30 seconds, that like hurt way worse than when I started, then you need to go see somebody. But what you should feel is that as you're holding there, either the pain stays level for the first round, and by the second and third round, your pain is actually starting to decrease. The isometrics should act as a way to decrease pain and really kind of use them as a little bit of a painkiller to areas that are bothering you, okay? So another isometric that we can work on is working upstream again. A lot of times when we've got people dealing with knee pain, it ends up being a lack of stability at the hip that could be causing, or a little bit of the culprit to why their knee is hurting in the first place. So we can work on a lateral wall sit just to kind of get a little bit of stability back into the system upstream. So this is pretty easy. I'm gonna keep a soft knee here, so I'm not totally locked out. I'm gonna keep a soft knee. I'm gonna keep my foot firmly planted on the ground, so all 5 toes are making contact here. I'm not rolling out onto the outside edge of my foot. And I'm gonna gently push myself into the wall here. So I'm pushing my left shoulder into the wall, engaging my right hip. Again, I'm gonna hold this isometric for anywhere between 30 and 45 seconds. This is also one that you can use if you're dealing with actual hip pain. In this case with the knee, what we're trying to do is just, again, get a little bit of input of up chain stability. So getting a little stability into the hip. You might be dealing with more of a mobility issue, and that's where we'll get into a little bit more mobilization work of the hip. So what we can do there is get a band. And once we've got our band, guys, we're gonna take our band, we're gonna anchor it to something sturdy here. And I'm gonna get the band up high and just have the band kind of pull gently out laterally here. And I can play with some different positions here. So I can have the band kind of help pull me out externally, and I can also have the band pull me, or excuse me, I can pull against the band internally and kind of overload this a little bit and get a little bit of an internal rotation, mobilization in here, and just kind of play in and out of these. And then I can also address some hip flexor stiffness that might be present as well. So I can spin around, I can pull the band up high again here and step back, and I can either drop down onto my knee, get into a hip extended position, squeeze my glute on, hold this, deep breath in, exhale down. I'm being mindful of my ribcage position here, not getting overextended. And I can stand out of this in a hip extended position, and again, glute on, inhale, exhale, releasing tension, and again, trying to address some hip flexor stiffness that might be present. All of these things can be good general ways to address a little bit of knee pain. And really, as you can tell, what we're focused on is working upstream here. So we're working on quad from a soft tissue standpoint. We're gonna work on some loading here, and that's gonna also address the hip, and then we can work on some mobility directly at the hip as well to try to free up some movement, all in the effort to make that knee move a little better, feel a little better as you're running. Give it a go.